September 14th, 2023, Danette L. Antonacci, having been first duly sworn to faithfully and accurately transcribe the following proceedings to the best of her ability. The foreperson, let the record reflect that I have canvassed the waiting area and no one has appeared in response to notice of intent to seek indictment. Mr. DiGiacomo. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark DiGiacomo. I'm a deputy district attorney here in Clark County. We're here to continue presenting evidence in grand jury case number 22 Siege J117X. If there are no questions, I would continue with Detective Mogg. The foreperson, you're all ready. You do solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give upon the investigation now pending before this grand jury shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? The witness, I do. The foreperson, please be seated. You are advised that you are here today to give testimony in the investigation pertaining to the offense of murder with use of a deadly weapon with the intent to promote, further, or assist a criminal gang involving Dwayne Davis. Do you understand this advisement? The witness, I do. The foreperson, please state your first and last name and spell them both for the record. The witness, Clifford, CLFFORD, Mogg, MOG. Clifford MOG, having been first duly sworn by the foreperson of the grand jury to testify to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, testified as follows. Examination by Mr. DiGiacomo. Q. Detective Mogg, you were here last week and you had presented sort of a lengthy interview of Mr. Davis concerning the events surrounding Mr. Shocker's death. Is that accurate? A. Yes. Q. You have, or at least we have within grand jury exhibit number 48 three more. I'll call them clips, some more lengthy than others, describing certain facts and circumstances surrounding that as well. A. That's correct. Q. In addition to that, are there numerous other times that Mr. Davis has been portrayed on the internet in videos describing essentially the same version of events? A. There are. There's hours worth. Q. And during those hours, while there are, you would agree with me there are some small inconsistencies, some of which he gets confronted with. Is that fair? A. Correct. Q. But ultimately his story is fairly consistent on who's in the car, what direction it's heading when they realize that the caravan with Shug and Mr. Shakur are in it, and that they do a U-turn and pull up on the gutter, and they shoot the vehicle essentially. A. That's correct. Q. So I'm going to play what's marked on grand jury exhibit number 48 as number 2. Video playing. Mr. DiGiacomo. We'll go to the next clip, which is marked as 3. Video playing. By Mr. DiGiacomo. Q. Now detective, to clear something up, you reviewed the transcripts of Shug Knight's formal interviews with police. Is that fair? A. Yes. Q. And would you agree or disagree that he was less than forthcoming about both the event at the MGM as well as the shooting event itself? A. Yeah, he was less than cooperative with the detectives that were interviewing him that night. Q. So when Kef D says Shug told the police that first night, he's at least. Shug didn't tell Metro that first night, correct? A. I don't have any evidence that Shug Knight told the Metropolitan Police Department or any other police department who was involved in the shooting him and TUPAC Shakur. Q. You since in your investigation, and this jury's heard from Reggie Wright Jr., who is head of security for Death Row Records, correct? A. Yes. Q. You're aware that Shug and Reggie Wright and people around Shug were having conversations in the days after the homicide? A. That's correct. Q. And you're aware that Reggie had communicated to his father, who was either at that time the lieutenant or captain of the Compton Police Department gang unit? A. Yes. Q. And so when Mr. Davis says Shug told that first night, that appears to be corroborated by the event that occurs with Regis Wright Sr.? A. Yes, and I also learned that through my investigation. Mr. DiGiacomo. One more video to play. And this is marked as 4 on exhibit number 48. Video playing. By Mr. DiGiacomo. Q. Throughout these videos, Mr. Davis keeps referencing telling on himself. Do you hear that a variety of times? A. Yes. Q. And in the course of your investigation, there have been portions of some sort of recording that was taken in California by California law enforcement and or federal agents as part of a California task force. Is that correct? A. There was. Q. Have you ever received a full copy of the recording that allegedly occurs in LA sometime between 2006 and 2009? A. I have not. Q. The only parts of that you know about are what has been posted on the internet in small snippets? A. That's correct. Mr. DiGiacomo. Thank you. That completes my questions for the witness. Does the grand jury have any questions? By a juror. Q. Did you personally interview Kef D? A. I was there when I executed a search warrant at his residence and I sat in the car with him for a while, but there wasn't an interview conducted per SE. He did not want to talk. Q. Okay. Mr. DiGiacomo. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot use the fact that he chose to remain silent with Detective Mogg in consideration of the probable cause in this particular case. By a juror. Q. I have a question. In regards to the home with the warrant, did you guys obtain anything? A. There was evidence that we obtained that was relevant to this case from his house in Henderson. Q. By Mr. DiGiacomo. Q. And let me, first of all the electronics that were in that house were collected, correct? A. Electronics that we believed were relevant to the investigation were collected. Q. And what was the purpose of collecting those particular electronics? A. So we took his cell phone that he had with him at the time the warrant was executed because I want to review the download from that phone to see if there's any communications between him and anyone else associated with this investigation. When I say that, I mean people who he has conducted YouTube interviews with, documentation as to his involvement in the Death Row Chronicles documentary, and then anything that would have been related to his involvement in and the publication of his book. Q. In addition, were you looking to see if there were evidence of remuneration or financial payment for his claims of being responsible for the death of Tupac Shakur? A. That was one of the things we were going to look for also. Q. In addition to that, were there two giant bins of photographs and other sundry items that you collected? A. There were. Q. And the purpose in grabbing all those photographs was what? A. I was looking for any documentation, any photographs that might connect him to the murder of Tupac Shakur, or any of the YouTube videos, the documentaries, the book, and during the search of those bins I located like a small photo album that was cloth bound, and inside that photo album were numerous clippings of the murder of Tupac Shakur dating back to 1996 and in that time frame, and also his book. I recovered a copy of that. A magazine talking about the murder of Tupac Shakur, and I believe I also recovered a copy of Greg Kading's book Murder Rap. Q. In talking about those newspaper articles, he references in his interview very early on that the LA Times was reporting Kef D's nephew Orlando Anderson as being a potential suspect in the early part of September. Early to mid part of September. Do you recall that? A. Yes. Q. And Kef D actually kept a copy of that LA Times article? A. He did. Q. Lastly, within those binders, did you locate a search warrant and a return from the Compton Police Department in May of 1998? A. We did. The search warrant return was from Detective Tim Brennan, and he also mentioned his partner Detective Ladd in that. One of the items that was listed on the return was a receipt from the Monte Carlo Hotel. Q. And prior to the execution of the search warrant, did you have any knowledge about the execution, the fact that that search warrant had been executed in 1998? A. I was aware that there was a search warrant that was executed. I had a copy of the actual warrant and the affidavit in support of the warrant. Q. Let me back up. The affidavit in support of the warrant that you have is for September of 1996, as well as one from 1997. Would that be correct? A. Yes. Q. Do you have one for 1998? A. No. Q. Okay. And the return we have that was found was from May of 1998. Is that correct? A. I believe so, yes. Q. Okay. Once you saw that there was paperwork recovered showing a bill due to the Monte Carlo, was there efforts to, well, let me rephrase this. Prior to recovery of that, did you have evidence from the Monte Carlo that Kef D had stayed at the Monte Carlo at the time of the Tyson fight? A. I did not. Q. But you did have, and he mentions repeatedly. Through these interviews, Sire or a guy named Corey Edwards, correct? A. Yes. Q. And his claim is that Corey Edwards is in the van before he gets out of the van and gets into, before Kef D gets out of the van and gets into the Cadillac? A. That's correct. Q. And you do have records establishing that Corey Edwards from way back in the initial investigation was staying at the Monte Carlo? A. He was staying at the Monte Carlo during the time that Tupac Shakur was murdered. Mr. DiGiacomo. Thank you. Any other questions? By a juror. Q. Going way back. Was the weapon that was used and or the car, the white Cadillac, either one of those ever recovered? A. Neither one were ever recovered. We have information about them, but we were never able to identify the person who rented the car, where it was rented from, and then when it comes to the gun, we have never recovered as of this date the weapon that was used in the murder. Q. Has it been verified that the Cadillac was rented, or is that just what was said? A. That's information that I obtained from numerous detectives that were working various parts of either this case or some other investigations in the Compton area. By Mr. DiGiacomo. Q. Let me ask you this. During the course of your investigation, you learned that obviously Bubble Up, Terrence Brown, was the driver of this particular vehicle? A. Yes. Q. During the course of your investigation, did you learn that Terrence Brown had a family member that used to rent cars in Compton? A. That's correct. Q. But that company, or I guess you call it a company, that rented those cars in Compton no longer has, or no longer either exists or has records that go back to 1996. A. So I was aware based on information I obtained from other police departments and other detectives of a company that was used to rent vehicles. I contacted that company and attempted to find out if they had records going back to 1996, and they did not have records. The only way they might be able to obtain any information is if I had the name and the phone number of the person who rented the vehicle or the vehicle identification number from the car. Since I had neither one of those, they were unable to provide any information. Mr. DiGiacomo, any other questions? By a juror. Q. In the first video that we watched today, towards the end Mr. Davis said, "Don't tell anyone. That's the only way that you'll stay free." So did he at any time state why he did so many interviews, being that the murder had not been No one had been actually charged for the murder. If he was involved, why is he speaking out so much? A. So he never told me personally why he was doing so many interviews. The only reason that I can see now that he is doing all of these interviews is monetary gain, and everyone else that was involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur is deceased. By Mr. DiGiacomo, Q. Mr. Davis mentions that he believes the police knew that he committed this crime back in 1996. A. Yes. Q. And Mr. Davis, as far as you know, has no law license, correct? A. He does not. Q. Mr. Davis told some Los Angeles or people in California associated with law enforcement about his involvement and didn't get prosecuted for this crime, correct? A. That's correct. Q. But Metro, the jurisdiction that has authority over the investigation, never received whatever that information is, nor as far as you know nobody has ever, from Las Vegas, ever provided Mr. Davis any sort of immunity from prosecution, correct? A. They have not. Q. And then Mr. Davis has, sorry. Detective Kading published a book that referenced everything that was told to him by Mr. Davis, and Mr. Davis didn't get arrested in 2011, correct? A. That's correct. Q. And so by 2018, he decided to write his own book and start talking on YouTube videos in an effort to gain money from the killing of Tupac Shakur? A. That's what I believe. Q. Okay. The 4%. Any other questions?